Hey, the background noise in here might be kind of high today, but just got a fan blowing and some stuff on the TV. But it's the day after the inauguration, and I watched the entire inauguration parade, ball afterwards. Best inauguration speech I have seen in my entire life, and very akin to JFK's type of inauguration speech, or a speech by JFK. Not to mention Melania's dress was exquisite, Jackie O style, perfect. I mean, just beautiful. And it was wonderful to see the huge crowds, gigantic, monstrous crowds in the mall, looking out over Washington, and it was just amazing. I am very, very happy at what he said during the speech. It was probably the most appropriate thing to say, but the mainstream media news is sitting there downing every bit of it, as usual. They are complete and total idiots. I mean, they're just so bought and paid for. It's absolutely ridiculous. Even my mother, who is 70 years old, she's watching the news, and she listened to the speech first and then watched these very biased people, talk about the speech, and she was like, what the hell are they talking about? We talked today about it, and it just floors me. She knows the mainstream media news. At 70 years old, she knows the mainstream media news that she's watched all her life is a bunch of BS. And I'm sure she's beginning to think to herself, I wonder how much more of it in my past has been BS too. And I think that, there was probably a time when the news was a little bit more appropriate, but, things have gotten progressively worse, and the sickness of the mind that is out there, these people, they're just so mentally screwed in the head, and I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but I've watched some videos today that were put out by InfoWars where they were interviewing people on the street, and some of them were intelligent, but they have incorrect information and have been completely and totally brainwashed, and other ones are just complete and total ignoramuses who have absolutely no appropriate and correct information, has never spent a day in their lives looking up anything that is real. They just keep going on this narrative that they've been fed, and you can find information that makes you think that stuff is real all over the net. And I'm so glad that I woke up from it myself. I'm so glad that I have gotten away from that kind of garbage. And it was like in the early 90s, I took my TV down off the bar counter. I had a little 13-inch color TV up on the bar. My ex-husband and I were sick and tired of seeing the OJ trials every time we turned the television on. And we took the TV down, and we said, the hell with this, and we put it up underneath the counter, and when we wanted to watch something on DVD or whatever, we would take it out, or VHS at the time, I believe. We'd take it out, we'd put it up on the counter, we'd watch our movie, we might leave it there for, a day or so, watch the movies that we had, and then we would put it back underneath the counter, and get it out of the way. It was a tool, and it was no longer a part of our household. And I pretty much lived like that for most of the time since the early 90s. I have not paid attention to mainstream media television. It's just garbage. Yes, of course, I've had a few shows here and there I've watched, and there have been a few times in my life where I've had a TV in my house, but it wasn't the main source of my entertainment. Never has been. And since the internet's been so easily accessible over the years, I think I got online for the first time in 89, and 89, 98, 89. I got a number dyslexia there. Actually, I got on the internet the first time in my life, probably back in the mid-'80s, but it wasn't anything like the net is now. I was a kid, and a friend of mine's parents had net through business, through work. But in any case, another story for another time. Since I've been on the web, I've watched this progressive, people communicating with each other, and the information highway, and there's good stuff and there's bad stuff, and the bad stuff is everywhere, and you can brainwash yourself into thinking that it's real and that it's right. But there is a difference between something that is quality and something that is just put out there for sensationalism and head games and trying to manipulate people and trying to keep a certain narrative going. And that's what's going on. And sadly, there have been a lot of people that have bought into it. Weak people who are weak-minded and weak-hearted and have a very, very low information level on what is history and what is real history, and even how the government works. I mean, people don't understand the popular vote. People don't understand the difference between the Electoral College and the popular vote, and why it's important to have an Electoral College. If we didn't, we would have a system where New York and California determined what everybody in the country had for a president or an electorate. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. Just because there's a mass population there, and information between them spreads like wildfire, and they all think in this mind frame that has become a sickness. It's an absolute beep, 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 beep. My phone making noise. It's absolute sickness. It has become a sickness of the mind. And there is a really good book out there that I read years ago about memes. And memes aren't just like the little pictures you see on the internet. A meme can be a thought, or a type of thought, or a way of thinking that has been shared between people and spread. And everything from old wives' tales to completely non-factual information can be made into a meme, and that's what the world has become. These pockets of people living in bubbles on the East and West Coast who are living in their own little world of what they think the world is like, and they have no experience of anything outside their little world. And I have plenty of experience of things outside my world. I've lived in all sorts of different ways, different places, and it's just a very sad thing to see what is going on out there. So anyway, I'm very happy. I'm hoping that Trump follows through and drains this swamp and gets rid of these people and these elitists, and that we actually have a chance in this world to create something that our ancestors would be proud of. And I mean all of our ancestors, because whether you're Native American or Americans that have been here since Plymouth, like my family, or or Americans that have immigrated here since then, you are part of this country. We are all part of this country, and we need to get along with each other. We need to learn to get along with each other. And part of the problem is that when you've got one group of people that are brainwashed into believing a false narrative, and you've got another group of people that just don't care, and then you've got a third group of people that actually take the time to know something and learn about history. There's a lot of battling going on between the three groups of people, or one of them doesn't really care, so they're not really in it. But their non-caring in itself creates these horrible pockets of people that are just completely misinformed. So anyway, that's what I got to say today. I'll be posting some more videos on my channel on YouTube and in my group Truth Human Lies Matter on Facebook, and Sheeple Dogs Truth Human Lies Matter Facebook page. And you can find me on Twitter at truth_LM or HL_matters, sorry, at truth_HL_matters, or matter. And I have to look it up and make sure which one it is. But you can, I leave links to those things on my various different things. I'm hoping that I can get my YouTube page up, so like and subscribe, and please subscribe to the page or the YouTube, and come to our group on Facebook, and we would love to hear from you. And if you have anything great to share, any kind of information that's good, feel free to share. make sure your information is truth before you share it. Not just weird things that are fed to you by weird people. Anyway, that's all. No globalist garbage. Anyway, have a good one. Talk to you later, and we're gonna make America great again. And we're gonna sure fight to try to do so. Have a good one.